Okay, so good evening everyone and everyone who is watching this live video. Um, my name is Joanna Ramirez and I'm 14 years old and I am from JCRO, our church. So I like to share about restoration of all things and back to apostolic doctrine. So if you read in first of all, our text is about Acts chapter 3 verse 19 to 21. It says in Acts chapter 3 19 to 21, repent ye therefore and be converted, that your sins may be blotted out, when the times of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Lord. And he shall send Jesus Christ, which before was preached unto you, whom the heaven must receive until the times of restitution of all things, which God hath spoken by the mouth of all these holy prophets since the world began. So, this is applicable to Israel and the whole creation, not just in Israel. But there's also application in the church, from the original church in Acts down through the apostasy, or down to the ages that was infused in the apostasy and apostasy teachings. So, but there's a prophecy of restitution to the original apostolic teaching. So, what is it? In Acts chapter 3, verse 19 to 21, for me to order to explain it to you, it talks about a restoration. This also talks about restoration, and it says that, repent ye therefore and be converted, and he shall send Jesus Christ. So it said that when Peter talked about uh, sending Jesus Christ in this earth, the question is it a second coming, or can call it a first coming? That is the big question, because it says that Peter talked about sending Jesus Christ down in this earth. So it is not, if you say, let us say that that is a second coming, or or consider a second coming. So it is not the second coming. Why? Because if Jesus Christ actually came back to earth, down to earth, then or if this can be considered a second coming of Christ, then the salvation of the people and the church must be restored, must be already restored. So Christ is after heaven, he is our mediator, and many says that this is about Israel. So, and we are not disagreeing with that, or we are not against that, with that. We are actually referring to that topic that Israel is applicable to in the whole creation. So, after this ages, after this step-by-step stories, in this is after that is millennium age. So, in the restitution beneath the church, we talk about the church or the ages, there's an apostasy. So every ages there's a master key, and what we call that a master key is the from Ephesians to Laodicean. If you go back to the message of end time message, it says that, or in the prophet message, you should know first the explanation or the message inside of the seven church ages before knowing the seven seals or the mysteries. So there's a rock and house being built in that. So how do you apply Acts chapter 13 to our repentance? So it says that we need to mark this word into our heart, in every Christian heart. It said, you shall not be a judgmental spirit, which is a Nicolaitan spirit, because you need to have a repentance. And that was a part of uh, restoration. So Jesus Christ is in heaven, an our mediator. And what is this? We call a restitution. As number one, this is applies to Israel. Yes, we are dealing with that. And number two is the restoring. And the third is restoration of church age, which is in Daniel chapter 9 verse 4. And it does not actually apply just for Israel, but I said earlier that it's actually the whole world, the whole creation. This is also applicable to world creation or others. It's not just about Israel. And even the world is involved in here. So the restoration of all things, the seven church ages in Revelation chapter 1 verse 19 to 2 and 23, and parallels in the seven parables of Matthew 13, the last eight parable being returned, and to the original apostolic teaching which is in old time, all things, and validating the walk to progressive revelation which is the new things. So for the perfection of, and for this is for the perfection of the bride, as we say, the church and founded in apostolic doctrine, and let in the ages is it restored again? The question is it restored again? That's a big question. So when William Marion Branham has sent to the start to the restoration and continuously till the whole thing came back into perfection, it was before. So and it was started beginning and not the end. So mystery uh will be continuously run because that is misery. So not already finished. So my last quote or message is the word restore is to give back which was the last or the glory of God in even salvation the church and the bride and salvation of people will be restored and is restored as through Christ because Christ was sent in from heaven our mediator to this earth. So that's all. Thank you. And we will see you again in Tuesday.